Happy New Year again. We'll introduce you to a couple of preteen CEOs. It's Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Links Incorporated has an event, but we'll begin talking about terror in New Orleans. Roll it, Bobby. Like most of you, you woke up on New Year's Day to news that is fairly unfathomable for those of us who live here. Terrorists? New Orleans? Really doesn't go together. Well, it did last week. And a good friend of mine and former military veteran, Marine, retired, Colonel David Couvillon, straight from West Baton Rouge, is here. And so, Colonel, for the entirety of the day, watching the news coverage, and in what we call the lower third at the bottom of the screen, you see New Orleans terrorist attack. Mm-hmm. It just seems surreal all day. Now, here is someone who was a 10-year veteran of the U.S. military, graduated from Georgia State University, fell on hard times, and was radicalized. My first question to you is, what were your thoughts when you learned of this news?
The first time I saw it, I said, it's happening again. Mm. And remember back in when we talked about 9/11, you asked about terrorism, and I said it's not a matter of if it's going to happen again, it's a matter of when it's going to happen again.
You said that here.
And I've said it, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And I will continue to say it. Just because this one happened, it's going to happen again. Yeah. And all of the things at the time, I was not shocked, kind of surprised. It was a targeted area, no doubt, but it was a target of opportunity, not something specific because it was New Orleans. Yeah.
It was. Elaborate on that. You and I were texting about it, and you said that to me.
It's a crowd. It's an area. It's a crowd that's done because this happened late at night or very early in the morning, however you want to look at it.
So 3:15 a.m.
Yeah. So it was a target of opportunity that he could do that, and as you well know now, he scouted the area. He scouted it out and looked to see what he could do and how he could do it. It was definitely premeditated. It wasn't anything spur of the moment. He thought about this and he looked for a crowd that was easy. Yeah. And that's basically what happened.
And when you say easy, you mean it easily accessible? He could get to them?
It was easily accessible. It had a lot of targets. Yeah. Okay, that he could have a mass event. Yeah. And because it was in a large city and on New Year's, it was an opportunity to make a big splash on the news.
You see the photographs of some of the victims of this attack. In addition to the F-150 Lightning, the electric truck that he was driving, he also sat 2 pipe bombs with remote detonators in the area, and in the vehicle with him was an AR-10 and a Glock. He got out of his truck, as most of you know now, after running through these people and started shooting, and then was killed by NOPD. It seemed to me like almost a suicide by cop. He was driving through the area with an ISIS flag on the back of the pickup truck, which begs the question, how did no one see that?
I think somebody did see it. One of the videos I saw was the truck going down Canal Street right before it turned into, I think, just doesn't look to me like a security camera because it literally followed the truck. And I think somebody goes, look at that guy with an ISIS flag on it who followed it, and it turned in there. But a determined person who doesn't care whether to live or not through it, I think you're not going to stop it. You can deter as much as you want, but sooner or later somebody's going to get through. You can stop all you want. They only have to succeed one time.
Well, I was going to say that. George W. Bush said that 10, 15 years ago that America has to be right all the time. The terrorists have to be right only once.
Correct.
And the other question is radicalization. He was radicalized and he pledged his allegiance to ISIS. How frequent is this stuff happening in our country?
I don't think it's frequent, but we have, 33 million? We have more than 33 million people.
About 320 million.
Yeah, 320 million. So the percentage is low, but there's still a percentage. So you're still going to have people that do that. And in this guy's case, when you look at his background and what he was doing, while he was in the military, he had a structure around him, and he was supported the thing. When he got out of the military and he went out on his own, his life fell apart.
Yeah.
You know, you can use the term loser.
Yeah.
He tried and he didn't, and he didn't
to
make
do
it.
what he did, he's certainly not a winner.
Well, I agree. And so he was looking for some other structure to support him and to think. And he found this belief in this warped idea of Islam and what it should mean to him and how he should express that.
It is very similar to what happens with young men in our communities who don't have anything going for them, and they fall into criminal activity with these gangs just to feel a part of something.
Feel part of a group.
You were overseas 20 plus years ago, serving in Iraq, serving in the Wasat province. I got about 30 seconds. To people who are without hope about what's going forward, what optimism can you give them in this country?
Oh, you know, all of the stuff that's going on with the political background in the election that we just had, and the new president coming in, and of course the new governor last year here, I think there's been a lot of negative stuff going on there. But you go anywhere, go to a neighborhood, even some of the poorer neighborhoods, and you talk to some of the people, you will see people who really have a decent outlook on life and want to have a decent outlook on life, and they go about living their life the way they should, raising their kids, trying to do the right thing, whether they have help or not. But we do need to help them when we can.
Speaking of help, that's such a perfect segue to the victims of this violent crime, and it's just the most egregious act of cowardice to start a brand new year. Here are the names and ages of the victims, and here is how you can support, if you so choose financially, these families that I am sure are still very much in mourning. God bless to all of them. Back in just a moment to talk about Human Trafficking Awareness Month. The governor has an office that addresses it. We will introduce you to the executive director next. Did you know that it's Human Trafficking Awareness Month? Most people don't. The holiday goes back to January of 2010, and it really is a subject that so many people ignore, and it could be happening literally right under your nose. Monica Taylor with the Governor's Office of Human Trafficking Prevention is here with us. Long title. Don't know how she gets that on a business card, but I'm glad she's doing the work. Let's talk about it. I told you before the segment, I went down the rabbit hole reading about this, and this as an illegal crime, get this folks, it generates about $150 billion a year. How is this possible?
Right. It's very lucrative, and there's so many things in our society that are changing now. We're having different conversations about it's not okay to purchase another person for any reason whatsoever. And so we're really starting to make people understand and see what is going on. My previous job in the AG's office for the now governor when he was AG, I did a lot of training of law enforcement, and we really have seen in the last 10 years or so law enforcement approaching this in a much different way. And we're really trying to use all of our platforms to let people know that it's not what you think. It's not the somebody getting kidnapped in the parking lot and being bound and gagged and held somewhere. This is being done in every community in the state of Louisiana, and every day. It's not, right now we're hearing a lot about the Super Bowl, but it's not just around Super Bowl. It's every single day in every community, and it's done by people close to the people who are being trafficked, unfortunately.
I read that there are 25 different types of human trafficking, at least.
Yes.
For people who are wondering, what do I look for? What do you look for in the case of someone who may be trafficked or being trafficked?
Right. So there's several things that you can look for. We try and stay away from saying hardcore indicators. We find that can lead to false assumptions and putting victim labels on people that we don't want to do. We don't want to label other people. But some of the things that are common in both sex trafficking and labor trafficking is people who are very afraid, who don't don't have their own driver's license or their own documentation. They're not holding on to it. They're letting someone else speak for them all the time, whether it's someone who's older. It can even be someone the same age. It can be, sometimes we see in sex trafficking cases, when you have women who are being trafficked, you may never see the person at the top who is trafficking them. They may have another victim with them, but that victim has been so broken that they are enforcing the rules as well. And so that's it, so those are some of the things that we ask people to look for. And if you just feel like something isn't right, there's always ways that you can report it.
What are the resources available to people right now who are watching this?
Absolutely. So we have a fantastic campaign going on right now around Human Trafficking Prevention Awareness Month and around Super Bowl, because Super Bowl brings more eyes to it. But of course, we have Mardi Gras right after, and then right after that, we have French Quarter Fest and Jazz Fest, and I could keep going on, right? And we'd be all the way back to Mardi Gras again. And so, but there's a lot of resources out there. You can go to the governor's website, and through that website, you can get to our page as well. And we also have a QR code that we can post on the screen, and people can click on the QR code, and it takes them to a landing page for resources and where to report.
So Monica's already agreed to come and do the podcast.
Yes.
A longer form conversation. In fact, we may try to get her in before the end of the month to come do the C-suite so we can sit and talk about that.
Yeah,
Does that sound
absolutely.
good?
Sounds great.
Thank you so much.
I appreciate it.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
The weather is changing, if you haven't noticed, and so are the kinds of things roaming around your house. We got something for you. We'll talk about that next. And here's where you can catch the show. It streams every Friday on WAFB.com and airs on Friday nights at 7 p.m., replaying Saturday at 3. And now a discussion with a man that absolutely freaks out Master Control every time he's here. John Conroy, founder and owner of Pest Stop. You can check him out online at peststop.com. He's got stores in Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Covington, Lafayette, Mandeville.
Covington.
Covington, yeah.
So, and on the West Bank.
And on the West Bank, you can see his website right there with one of his dear friends. And that's kind of the way you like to see those jokers when you encounter them. On their backs and like that. So let's talk about the weather changing. It's colder outside, which means the intruders around your house and in your house will change. And we're going to start with what? Oh, there
Charlie, there he is. Yeah.
Charlie?
Charlie, yeah. You want a bait for Charlie. You want to give him some food.
Yes.
Anticoagulants, nerve toxins, the good stuff. Not the stuff in the big box stores, because even though it says one bite, it's not. It's one bite after another bite after another bite, which they never get the last bite. They get sick and then they stop eating and then they come back. So, yeah, that's the problem. When you call a professional, he's coming out with professional strength products.
Yeah.
JT Eaton's, Terrid.
Okay.
The big stuff.
Okay.
The stuff that really, it's a one bite, that's a lethal dose, 48 hours, he is toast.
Later, Charlie.
Yeah,
no, that's
it.
not Charlie. Which one is that?
No, that's Henry.
Henry.
Yeah.
They can both ride the same lightning.
Yep.
All right, what's next?
Fred. Fred can be a problem, especially he's from Germany.
How can we make Fred dead?
Well, you're holding the box right there.
That's it. Tell me what we do with this.
Most people make the mistake of thinking you can spray to eliminate German roaches.
Yeah.
You absolutely cannot. Because the nest is usually behind a wall. It's inside a wall cavity. It's behind cabinetry, areas where you cannot get insecticides to. So the way you do it is you bait it. This is a gel bait. It comes with 3 little packs of syringes in here. And it's going to look a lot like peanut butter. And so you're going to just make little bitty dabs inside all your cabinets and drawers and stuff. It has an attractant formulated in it. They'll come to it, eat it, take it back, and feed it to the nest. And that's how you eliminate them. It creates a domino effect.
Put these away. Make sure your kids don't get next to them, or you'll have Chris Nakamoto at your house. What is
Here's
that?
the most important part.
Yeah.
It's birth control for roaches.
So what?
Birth control. It's going to stop the breeding. You see, this is where everyone misses the boat. You go down the mystery aisle of pesticides at Home Depot and Walmart and Lowe's, the big box stores. They don't have stuff like this. You have to break this capsule. It's just like an ammonia capsule. You place it up at the highest point, up near the ceiling. The vapors are odorless, heavier than air. They're going to seep down inside the wall cavity, sterilize the egg capsules. No more roaches.
And finally, what do we have here? This is
Bed bugs. Yeah, they're real active right now if you've been doing a lot of holiday traveling and stuff, you know.
Yeah. How do you get rid of them?
Just burn the house down.
Hey, listen, I could see Alyssa getting on board with that plan. She said in my ear she would. But what do you do? I mean, you guys sell stuff to get rid of
We
that.
really do. Well, it's the same stuff the pros use. It's usually a 3-step process.
Yeah.
We want to use Sterifab, we want to use Gentrol, which is a different variety of that. And we want to use Suspend. And it's a process, and we'll give you all the instructions and directions that you need to know. But the bottom line is you can definitely do it yourself.
Well, you know, we're joking about this, but the truth is the weather is changing so much right now. You are going to have a lot of things around your house that you don't want in your house. And like, he won't tell me how to, we didn't talk about getting rid of this rabbit that's been around my yard the last couple of days. I told Alyssa, she said, what are you doing with the rabbit? I said, I want to run him away before he ends up in a sauce somewhere. So there's the website, petstop.com. You could go on and find out where the stores are, find out what products are there, or do like most of us do, go see him over there on O'Neill Lane. Birth control for
roaches.
Roaches.
Didn't get any better than that. High-tech stuff.
Interesting. All right, let's talk Posh Pop, and we'll have a conversation about wigs, martinis, and bow ties. We'll do that next. And the C-Suite. Julio Malera was on for the first show of the year, did a fantastic job. Pat LaDuff will be our guest next week, and we'll talk about that a little bit more next. Pretty cool event happening next Friday at the Shaw Center. La Capitale of Links Incorporated, the chapter that Robin and I were just talking about, is like nearly 40 years old here in the Capital Region. It's at the Shaw Center. Wigs, martinis, and bow ties. You take the wig part out, and that's about time right there. And let's talk about this, Robin. You know, she's so affiliated with the Southern University, but you're also a part of Links Incorporated for a long time.
Yes,
Tell me
sir.
about this event, what's happening there, and what does it benefit?
So this is our signature fundraiser. It's called Wigs, Martinis, and Bow Ties. And you're right, we keep it all in there. Wigs, martinis, and bow ties. Just what it says is what we'll be doing. It's a whimsical event.
Right.
We have a great time every year putting this on. And it's for the community. It's for fundraising for our service projects that we do throughout the greater Baton Rouge community, West Baton Rouge included as well. So we have projects in the arts. We have projects in national trends and services. We also do services to youth as well as international trends and services. And so we run the gamut of the things that we're doing. I've got to mention too that we do health as well.
I love that. And scholarships. There's
Yes,
scholarships involved in there as well.
Absolutely.
And how many years have you been doing this event?
So this event has been going on now, I think close to 10 years that we've been doing this event. And I've got to give a shout out to our founder for the event. Her name was Lynn Dickerson. She was with us. This was her idea, and we've carried it on in her honor every year ever since. She said, we need to have something fun, a fun way to raise money. So it's a fundraiser, as we say, but the fun is really in there because, like I said, it's really whimsical. We have a great time. We have a signature cocktail that we put on every year for this event. Hey, you got to come and see. You got to come by the Shaw Center and see what our signature cocktail is this year. But tickets are $100, and it all benefits the community. And so we'll be there. The Michael Foster Project will be our entertainment for the evening. So we've got live music. There'll be lots of dancing, lots of fun. It's just a fun evening in January.
How can people get tickets?
Get tickets on our website. We've got tickets going on, and you can contact any member of the La Capitale chapter of the Links Incorporated. We're selling tickets up until the event, so get your tickets in advance, but up until the day before the event.
There's not a single cause that this thing benefits that I don't think everyone would support. I mean, pretty much everything. Shout out to Big Buddy, and you know, Kathy Victorian reached out to me about this. She's already sent me the link for support as well. You know, she's another one. She's tenacious about it. But it's next Friday at the Shaw Center. So a nice Friday evening event, starts at 7 p.m., goes until 10 p.m. And wigs, martinis, and bow ties. Look, you got to come and do the podcast to talk about Links Incorporated. Can we do that?
Absolutely.
All right, let's talk about support. We're talking about this event that supports causes that we can all get along with. How about this, supporting young people? Remember me telling y'all about Posh Pop? Posted with these young ladies who have a store. Where's your store?
On the corner of Acadian and Perkins.
So meet Bailey and Harper. First time I met Harper, she was itty bitty, and I asked her 2 questions about what she wanted to do, and she said she wants to sell a lot of popcorn, and the other thing she said she wanted to do was what?
be a billionaire.
Hey, don't you doubt her. Tell them about your store. They're going to do the podcast, the C-Suite. Tell them about your store.
So we have a lot going on in the store right now. It's on the corner of Acadian and Perkins, right next to Purple Cow. At the store, we have 14 flavors of popcorn that we hold in store, and then we also have 2 additional flavors that we do for our monthly specials. We also have sausage po' boys, nachos, hot dogs. We sell sweets, ice cream, so it's kind of like a one-stop shop. We have a little bit of everything.
See, I love this because I was telling Robin offset that we spent so much time talking about all the trouble these young folks get into and not enough time celebrating the ones who were killing it. And Harper was with me with a group of stakeholders and law enforcement at Howell Park when we were walking out there meeting neighbors about the Inspiration Center, and we had a lot of popcorn and a lot of people wanted popcorn. It's good. Henry, come here, man. Is Henry back there in the Weather Center? Come on, man. He doesn't have a mic on, but I'm gonna call him in here to come and get some of this popcorn. You know, Robin, he went to Jackson State. We won't hold that against him, but try that popcorn, man.
And I was actually out in your neck of the woods the other day. I got to stop by now.
All right. Yeah, Courtney says she's already been by there. They're going to do the podcast to talk about how the store got started. I really want you to hear their mindset about business. Their mother, who's offset, who refused to come on camera, is so dynamic. She's the force behind her daughters. The most important thing you could ever do as an adult is support your children. You got to support your children. You got to make sure that they realize their dreams are attainable. And look at this, a popcorn store in Baton Rouge owned by these beautiful little black girls.
Thank you.
That's right, I said it out loud. Posh Pop, tell them again where your store is.
On the corner of Acadian and Perkins, right by Jubin's and Purple Cow.
And then what can people experience when they come in Posh Pop?
They can experience fun, a lot of pink, a lot of black. It's really cool to see.
Hold up, I gotta go. You'll hear her finish that thought upstairs on the C-Suite. See y'all next week.